other, well, at least one other psychic / channeler has stated that the moon is a control center for this part of the galaxy. And it's hollow, and there are races living inside of it. What's your take on that?
No. The moon is the moon. There's no alien bases on there to observe the Earth. There might have been at one time, but no longer. And it's not a control center for whatever. That's far-fetched.
Okay. How many ET species are not surrounding, but in Earth's orbit at this time? Can you sense that?
There's a handful.
So it's 6, a dozen?
A handful. Because it varies. Remember, everything happens now.
Right.
The vast majority of, as you call ET, extraterrestrial beings who visit this planet for whatever reasons, and they have a variety of reasons, and there can be a whole bunch of one kind or just one of several kinds, and they pop in and out because most of them know that time doesn't exist. That's how they manage to. They're physical, so they need ships, quote unquote. They need something to travel together in. But they don't worry about how long it takes, because it doesn't. They know the quantum physics that allows them to travel. It's such a mystery to your scientists how they do that. They don't need propulsion because they understand how the universe works. And they go with that flow. So, yeah, there can be, at any one moment, there can be a number of different ETs or a whole bunch of one type of ET. Just depends on what they're observing. There are quite a few who are attempting to assist humanity to raise, or at least enough of you to raise your frequencies in order to go to the next level, so to speak. And they're looking forward to that.
I asked this question before, and I don't remember the answer.
Okay.
Will Sara and I observe first contact?
That depends. The answer is that depends on all the other variables and what probabilities, and that is one probability. And there are probabilities where you do and she doesn't, and she does and you don't, and neither of you do. Depends on a lot of factors.
Okay.
And I think that's kind of sort of how I answered that for you before.
It is. Let's see if there's another answer. Did Tesla, Einstein, and Musk spend time on another world or in another dimension?
Tesla definitely did. Not on another world. They're all strictly earthlings. But Tesla had an existence definitely on more than one other world. And he maintained his frequency so that he could pool, as you were asking about, his knowledge from other worlds, other existences. He didn't always get it accurately, but for the most part he did. And that's why he was such a genius and developed things that Others stole his ideas, and then the government stepped in and
Stole the rest of them.
stole the rest of them. And just think they're, for the most part, in general, your government still believes that they're too far out there, or there's no money in it, or they'd have to develop too much technology and pour money into it in order to see the fruition of his ideas. The whole gamut of that sort of a thing. Musk and Einstein as such have only been in this existence. I mean, they're like everybody else and they've had other existences, but none that they recall. They just had high enough, still do, have high enough frequencies that they're more open to ideas and how to bring those ideas to fruition. Does that answer your question? Okay.
So, what was the process that Tesla used to keep his knowledge?
It wasn't a process. He just had raised his frequency to a point that he could picture and remember a lot of this stuff because he was a higher frequency here, and he raised it elsewhere and began to see the probabilities coming together. That was his genius.
Okay.
But he didn't think of it in those terms.
Right.
But it's basically what he did.
And what about Einstein? Did he have help from the other realities or your people or what?
Well, remember that everyone has spirit guides
Yes.
and angels and others who help them out. How they help them can vary. And so perhaps unknowingly they were getting some information or ideas or something from other existences, but they weren't aware that's what it was. Tesla was kind of aware of that, and he chose. But Einstein just would get an idea and he would just worry it, kind of like you. Chew on it until, and then he thought he had the answers and he spewed them forth. And a lot of times he did, other times they didn't go far enough. But he was not aware of the whole raising of frequencies of other probable existences and pulling information from them. It wasn't a conscious awareness. Tesla's even was more of a subconscious that came to the conscious awareness. Musk has he's had a number of different 3D experiences, not just on Earth. And he is aware that frequencies and his own personal intelligence that he knows that he has are kind of linked. And he does state intentions without being aware this is what he's doing, but he states intentions before he sleeps. And ideas will come to him from the same variety of ways that the others got theirs. He's somewhere between Einstein and Tesla in that regard. Okay. And he's a funny guy. He doesn't always seem like it, but he's a funny guy. He loves to laugh too.
With our collective energy creating this world, can we tap into that energy?
If you raise your own energies enough, you will. Just got to keep on meditating, being positive, not in the way that PMA stuff says, but being a loving individual, being compassionate toward others, and in so doing, raising your own frequency. And probably without being totally aware of it, that you can start tapping in astral traveling or in your dreams or whatever your guides want to share with you. You know, there's a variety. You're wearing off on me, rubbing off on me. That doesn't sound good either. Anyway, you know what I mean.
Last question, but more may come up before we're done.
Okay.
In a previous session, you said you'd look into to see if there are any canine people on any worlds. Have you done that research? And if so, is there?
Just like there are feline appearing beings, there are reptilians of different kinds, there are light beings, there are blue beings, there are multipedal beings. So yes, there are what you could term canine appearing beings. But they're not dogs, they're not cats, they're not dragons or alligators or anything like that. They just seem to appear that way to you humans. There. How's that?
Excellent.
Okay.
And that is my last question. So, you have any statements or admonishments you would like to make?
No admonishments. Just the usual.
Which is?
Keep meditating. Keep stating intentions. And keep being more compassionate toward others, because you don't know what their life plan is. You don't know where their frequency level is, and yet they are still part of you and part of all that is, because we are all part of each other and of all that is, and energy connects us all. We're all connected. What else can I say?
I was thinking while you were talking
Uh-oh.
earlier, some of the things you had said got me started to think in this direction.
Mm-hmm.
I am not as compassionate as I could be.
Right.
I know that.
Mm-hmm.
I am fearful of being compassionate. I am fearful of being taken advantage of.
Oh.
So that is why I am fearful of being compassionate towards others. My experience has been that humans cannot be trusted.
You need to examine your belief system and let it go.
Let what go?
Whatever that belief system is that gives you that less than ideal attitude. Yes, many human beings can be at any, well, all human beings can be at any given moment be untrustworthy. They can be mean. They can be fearful. They can have all these emotions that pull your frequencies down. The ultimate remedy let's say, for this, is to remind yourself all the time to be compassionate, to treat the other as you would like to be treated, no matter how they treat you. That's a toughie, I know. Somebody does you wrong, you just want to get back at them. But again, when you stop to think that you're connected to that person through all that is, and all that is has none of those, I hate to use the word negative, but that's what they are, none of those
lower thoughts,
attitudes and thoughts that pull frequencies down. She, genderless being, just observes and watches to see how individuals, through their experiences, change their attitudes, change their beliefs, raise their frequencies. And all that is joyful, because he sees, well, genderless being sees how all other sentient beings are doing that, not just here on Earth, but in other places, and what they're doing and the experiences, and then he revels in those. I said he, you know what I mean. Genderless being revels in those experiences. Whether they are, shall we say, positive or negative, the experiences are what all that is, desires, and what's the word? Not enjoys, but can't think of the word I'm trying to come up with here. So let's just move right along, that if all that is interested in experiences, that's all that the rest of us need to be interested in. And whether it bothers us in a negative way or lifts us up in a positive way, that is still an attitude, a belief system, and we need to think about it, ponder it, and either let it go or just, what you guys have a saying, it is what it is. There is no judgment in that saying. It is what it is. Observe it and say, oh, see if you can find beauty in it. See if you can find a lesson in it. See if you can learn from it. Not judgmentally. Am I making any sense?
yes.
And I know that's tough for you human beings. That's something that you can meditate on, to find out what you said in your experience. But every human being has had experiences that are not pleasant, shall we say. It's what we do with it. That's another phrase. People say, okay, there was tragedy, but what do you do with that? It's how you respond.
Okay.
Do I need to
No.
add to that?
No, you're fine.
Okay.
And once again, while you were talking, I came up with another question, but it's gone.
It went bye-bye.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, then I think this is a good place to end for today. Mm-hmm. And I'll see you next time, and I'm sure you'll have a whole list of questions again. These were good ones. Try to remember the answers.
Oh. I can ask him again.
No.
Yes. I may get a different answer next time.
Have you gotten different answers?
I can't remember any of them, so I don't know.
All right. Okay. On that note, you need to make some notes.
Huh?
Yes.
Me?
Yes. And I will bid you all adieu.